What's up, my fellow gamers? It's Saltiest Gaming, and we're back with another podcast. T.S.P, the Saltiest Podcast, episode 19, second of the year. What's up, everybody?
Yo, what's good?
What up?
And we're just chilling. There's a football game going on that lots of people are interested in. It's almost finishing up, so we'll let the room fill up. And while we do that, let's get into our intros. Actually, let's hang up on that. What have you guys been up to? What have you been playing? Welsh, what have you been playing this week?
I recently finished Shadow of War, which, by the way, is freaking class. I love that game. Plays beautifully. But I just started Assassin's Creed Origins, and again, another beautiful display. Especially if you've got an Xbox One X, it's amazing. Real good game.
Yeah, I love that game. I'm working on it, but it's such a big game, you know? I mean, it's so much content. It's an awesome game, though.
Crazy. It's like The Witcher 3 in Egypt. It's massive.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful game. Don't tell Fonz. He's not going to be here today, but he hates that game now. He did a 180 on it. So,
on Assassin's Creed or The Witcher?
On Assassin's Creed. He was loving that game. He said it was the most beautiful game ever. Loving it. He got to level 25 and he hated it. He despised it. He said, the side missions were what killed the game, and he's not going to ever play that game anymore. So that's his take on it.
Wow.
Brutal.
Wow. What surprise?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, you'll have to ask him on his take, but I think it just comes down to the side missions just being repetitive and not diverse. And he feels like the addition of the loot boxes, they made those side missions purposefully boring. So you would buy those packages to speed stuff up. So I don't know.
I do see his point, though. I do see his point. I mean, I'll be completely honest. I hate usually like pay to win or anything like that, but I am guilty of buying like material packs and stuff. I've only been playing the game a few days, and I'm just like, fuck it. I'll just have a few leopard skins.
How dare you, Welsh? How dare you?
Oh man, until Fonz that, he'll go ham.
So I want to give a quick shout out to Stinking Corpse, Andy Mack. Who else is in here? Britty T. Who else? PSN Down, Volskrieg. Lex, what's up?
PSN, how you guys doing? my man PSN.
Thanks for joining.
So anybody else, what have you guys been playing? You just, get in here and talk about it.
Well,
hop in.
I think the thing that I've been playing, today I jumped into Gears of War 4 with you earlier, and man, I got to play more of that game. It makes me rage so much, but it's just such good rage. It's so rewarding.
Such good rage.
Good rage. Yeah, that's the first.
Good rage.
Yeah. But other than that, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I tried out that Dragon Ball Z Fighter beta today.
Did you even get in? Because I couldn't get in.
I got into one lobby, and I got into a ranked match, and the server was just so overloaded that you really couldn't move. So
yeah, that's what I heard, dude.
Yeah, you're basically trying to fight air in that game, and it looks great. It looks fun, but yeah, it was unplayable today. I was really hoping to have something to say positively about it, but I just ended up having nothing to say. So
Yep.
Anybody else playing anything interesting, or it's status quo?
Hey, I posted the group earlier. Picked up that Super Mario Odyssey, so I've been playing that today. It's actually pretty fun, man. That is actually a fun game, man. I'm really enjoying myself.
Yep, pretty fun.
And besides that, obviously, PUBG with you guys keeping me up late, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Still doing the PUBG thing, man.
Gears 3.
Yeah. Gears 3, did I hear, Jago?
Yeah, Gears 3 with Corpse last night, Dirty J. And so Horde mode, I think that's the best Horde mode out of all of them, in my opinion. And some Star Trek Bridge Crew VR with Noof and Super Sonic Station and Stinking Corpse.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm still doing the PUBG thing. I'm still playing Breath of the Wild because that game, I just trying to do as much as I can before I actually beat the game. Bayonetta. And, Madden as always, but, the typical stuff. But I'm trying to throw some things in here and there. But still doing the Nick Fury thing. That's what I always do. Hang out with the homies, play whatever they play. I might play some Switch here and there. That's how I do it.
Cool, man. I played Gears 4 multiplayer for the first time ever, honestly, because the people that I hang out with, for the most part, they hate Gears multiplayer. So, I think Nick's been part of that crew, and my friend Shameless hates it. We are more on the COD side, so I never did it. But we played today, played with Dealer, played with Noof, and we played with Irrelevant, and we had fun. We actually won, and I didn't do too bad, so it was fun. We'll have to get back into that. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the show. Let's do the intros. All right. Our special guest tonight, he comes from Wales in the UK. He's 24 years old. He's a proud father. He's a family man. Gaming is his number one pastime. And for as long as he can remember, he's been losing himself in exciting experiences when it comes to video games. He loves to share them with people on social media. He does gaming news for Xbox, just like me. The Welsh gamer. What's up? How's it going, buddy?
No, thanks for having me, Salt. I'm buzzing to be here. I can't wait to talk some amazing topics. You got some really strong topics and a good panel, so let's fucking do this. I'm looking forward to it. Cheers for having me.
Awesome. He's cocked, loaded, and ready to go. That's what I like to hear.
Chamber is loaded.
That's right. If you guys didn't know, like I said, Fonz won't be here tonight. He's hitting that overtime. He said he would try to join the chat, so we'll see if he, stops by. The next up is going to be Jago. How's it going, bro?
Man, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you, brother. Tired. It's late last night or early this morning, and the night before gaming. Woo. But I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Been having fun. Tired though, like I said.
Awesome. Nick Fury, how's it going, buddy?
Bruh, you won't believe what just happened. Welsh.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Wow. So anyway, I'm trying to watch this football game, and some shit just happened, and then he comes with my intro. That's why I'm in here making noises like, But just doing the same thing, doing Nintendo news, doing Nintendo stuff, trying to be in the Nintendo community, playing with the homeboys on the Xbox, playing with y'all, Native, Punk, Jago, the whole damn crew, just doing me, and still trying to do what I do. That's pretty much it, and I can't wait to get this thing going.
Awesome. Thanks. Punkidish Gaming, what's going on, brother?
No, man, same old same, man. A lot of family time. Like I said, staying up late with you guys every night, staying up till about 1 a.m, then waking up at 5, and then keep on saying I'm gonna go to bed earlier the next night, and then here we are playing PUBG every damn night. But I'm not complaining, dude. I'm not complaining. It's a fun time, and I enjoy playing with you guys.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, gamers they stay up late, and we don't get a lot of sleep. But I think that wouldn't trade it for the world.
No, never.
Because it's just an experience that you don't get anywhere else. You get to socialize. You get to go basically in another, I don't know, dimension almost. Just the way video games are, and escape. Some of the stuff of reality. So it's a cool thing. So I have a special announcement to make. That's why I saved him for last. I'd like to announce formally the Irrelevant Native will be a permanent member of the Saltiest podcast. So I want everybody on the panel and in the chat to give him a warm congratulations. He's an awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
It's my round of applause.
Yeah. So what's up, man?
Oh, man, thank you again to you guys, the panel. I'm pretty sure that it was a more democratic decision to bring me on full time and permanently. And if it wasn't, well then, But huge thank you to Salt, man, and the rest of the panel. I've been listening in for a while now, and I actually opened up my Twitter account at E3, and I did this past E3, and from then on, it's just been, it's been some of the greatest experiences that I've had. I've met and made some great friends on there, and now I'm on the podcast, and it's great to finally be doing something within the industry.
Yes.
I mean, it's a corner of the industry, but just being involved, in a podcast, being involved with the community, it's everything that I could have asked for, man. And
It's amazing.
Congrats to 2018. I welcome 2018 with open arms, and I can't wait to see what's gonna have in store for the Saltiest podcast and everybody individually.
Nice.
Let me be the first
Thank you,
to say
sir.
that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Let me be the first to say that it was kind of more of an unspoken democratic decision. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody really had an issue
No.
with that decision happening. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm glad to have Native on. Like I said, you're a good dude. You're chill as fuck whenever we're playing on Xbox and stuff. So I'm excited to have you on, you know, and doing this thing every Sunday. So once again, congrats, man.
You're the nicest asshole I know, bro.
That much is true.
That's a fact. So before we get this started, I just want to get a background on Welsh's gaming background, a quick overview. How'd you get into gaming and up, you know, your history up till today, basically, you know, with consoles and stuff?
I used my older brother play on. He had like the Sega handheld. He had all the Nintendos, the original Nintendo. So I used to watch him. Even on the PC, he used to play a bit of Broken Sword and Flight Simulator. Even though he's not really a gamer as such, he's what we'd call now a casual. You know, he just played on it here and there. He wasn't like an avid gamer. But I used to just watch him and be like, I want to do it, but I could never understand the controls. But then one fateful day, I must have been 6 or 7, just at a guess. I just picked up the Nintendo controller and played a shit ton of Star Wars, Mario, and Duck Shooter, and then I got my own Nintendo 64. That was my first proper console. I mean, I adopted my brother's consoles, like the Super Nintendo and all that, but my first proper console for me and only me was the Nintendo 64, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the whole idea of it because I like watching movies and I like reading books and comics and stuff. But gaming is just, for me, like easily the most like immersive storytelling experience. And I wouldn't, like you said earlier about like sleepless nights and being tired and stuff like that. It's like I just wouldn't change anything. I mean, like I was saying on Coffee Casual Consoles, Mel's show the other day, like the Xbox One X is a prime example. Like, it's just pop it, every game I put in and it just pops and explodes and just looks so good. It's just reinvented that passion that I had even as a kid when I first picked up the Nintendo controller. It's just I'll be very surprised if I ever stop gaming, and it's because I've been doing it for so long, and I love it just as much as I do now as I did when I was a kid. It's just amazing.
Yeah, you know what's funny, just to think about it, like we've all, you know, pretty much grown up with gaming, and just like you said, we can't picture ourselves away from gaming, but eventually we're all going to get old. So like, what are we all going to be gaming in the nursing home? Like, that's just
damn right, bro.
Right?
Absolutely.
I'll be right there.
Having all types of seizures and shit.
Have you seen that? There is a Call of Duty competitive team called the Silver Snipers or Silver Streakers. And the youngest member of that esports team is 62. And they're all older from there. Yeah, so I mean, if they can do it, that's where I'm gonna be. I don't know about you guys.
That's crazy, dude. So
I'll be playing games even when I'm dribbling in a rocking chair.
We have some nurse wiping our asses, and then we're still gaming. So that's something to look forward to, right?
Can you hold my controller and get the bedpan for me, please?
Like Cartman on that South Park episode.
My bedroom.
More hot pockets.
More hot packets, ma'am.
That's funny.
Oh,
Fucking awesome, dude. Well, thanks again, man. So let's get into it. Let's get into the news. Let's get it popping. Chad, I love to see you guys get in discussion, just the same as us. So let's get it lit in the chat and let's get this going. So we have a lot of cool news stories this week when it comes to gaming and Xbox in general. If you guys didn't hear, there was this huge rumor coming out that the Gears developer, the Coalition, was rumored to be working on a new IP with Storylab. So if you guys didn't know, Storylab is kind of outsourced to help with mocap and other things. They've they worked on Gears Ultimate and Gears 4. So they had this little tab on their website that said new IP 2017, with the Coalition or whatever. It's just this weird little tab. And I made a video on it, and I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this was, a mistake on their part. And sure enough, Microsoft came out and they said, hey, they debunked the thing. They're saying, hey, we got the Coalition to work on Gears, and they're going to be working exclusively on Gears. Is this a good or a bad idea when it comes to Microsoft to lock these developers in? So these studios, so like 343 or the Coalition that are really talented, developers, is it a smart idea for them to lock them in on just one IP? I'll start off with our guest, Welsh. What do you think about that?
Thank you. And I completely agree. I too got very excited at that news. I'll be completely honest. I jumped the gun myself, and I was well and truly psyched at the news, and I thought it was very credible. Being that it was Story Lab that put it up on my website, and they're in direct cahoots with the Coalition. So I thought it was very promising. And I thought it could be very interesting. But when Microsoft did come out and say that the Coalition are exclusively working on Gears, completely honest, I don't think that's bad news. Everyone might disagree with me on this panel, but for me, obviously it would have been nice to see one of Microsoft's first-party studios tackle something that wasn't Gears. But I don't think it's bad news because they did such a phenomenal job with Gears. I suppose it's just nice to know that it's safe to say that all their focus is going to be on Gears, so we can always expect Gears to be the best possible game it can be because none of their focus was diverted on anything else. I'd like to say this as well, that the Coalition, the fact that they have said, it's been confirmed they're not working on a new IP, that doesn't mean that Xbox won't be getting new IPs anyway, because as we know, Phil Spencer has broken out the checkbook to secure new exclusive IPs in the future. So all this means to me is Gears is safe. Gears is going to continue to be the high standard that I hold it up to this day, especially Gears 4. They did a phenomenal job of that. And new IPs can be tackled by hopefully new first-party studios. So that's my take. I don't think it's bad news. I certainly would have not been against them making a new IP. That's for damn sure. But the fact that they're not and they're only working on Gears, that's not bad news in my opinion.
Very well spoken, Welsh. I appreciate your takes, man. They're well thought out, and so you say it's not that big of a deal. And we'll go to the next person. I want to hear from you, Punk. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that they're kind of locking up these studios on specific IPs like Gears and Halo?
No, man, it's always good to lock up IPs. I mean, that's what you want, for the Xbox brand. But yeah, I think everyone in this chat, you can't say you weren't excited for that news. I mean, that was exciting. You always want something new and fresh. But like Welsh said, though, I mean, if they're spending a lot of their time on the next Gears and everything, you're going to get a good product out of that. And that is a top seller for Xbox by itself. So, I mean, that alone to me, is okay, Yeah,
that's good.
So, yeah.
Jago, what's your take on this, man?
I think it depends on the studio. I don't think you should mess with the Coalition. Have them, them being distracted by trying to split off, the development team in half, or them trying to, working on Barbie's Superstar Adventure or some shit that's going to tank, whatever. And I think they should just concentrate on Gears because they did a phenomenal job, and let them concentrate on that because I don't want to end up with another Mass Effect Andromeda. How people were hating on that and saying it was B team, working on it. Let them, or like let the developers make Gears 5 even better. So I mean, like I said, I think it just depends on the studio, but not the Coalition, which was pretty much founded for Gears.
I agree, man. When you look at how Mass Effect did. I mean, that's a good example. You risk, so you risk hurting the name of these studios almost. You know, if you split them up and then they make a game and it's a stinker, that looks bad on the studio, and that can kind of affect these billion-dollar franchises. You know, so that was an awesome take. Nick, what do you think about this situation? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, Diego took my take. I was going to mention Mass Effect Andromeda, but he took it before I could, and I was going to say, I agree with Welsh. It's not a bad thing that they're going to be working on one IP. You want your best foot forward when it comes to a franchise like that. I mean, we were all excited for the news whenever you said, "Oh, they're working on a new IP." I was like, "Great, a new IP for Xbox. You know, that's good for them. That's great news that they're working on, you know, something new." And then the news came out that they weren't, and I was upset at first. I was like, "Oh, well, they're not. You know, it looks like they're not really trying to make new IPs. You know, typical, you know, downer deals." But you know, I thought about it. I was like, it's not really a bad idea. It's Gears. I mean, there are two franchises right now are Gears and Halo, and they really should probably focus on those as best as they can to make the best product that they can. So, and like Jago said, with Mass Effect, you know, you have the B team working on your storied franchise, and you have your A team working on something else. Who knows what could go wrong? And so I could see why Microsoft did that, and they cut the news off, and you know, and they have plenty of other resources, and they've already said they're investing in new IP. So we're just gonna have to wait for those.
I'm gonna say this too to add to it. The more you stretch developers, let's be honest, the game development is hard work. Game developers, you know, I don't know any personally, but I hear and listen and read. Game development is tough. I mean, it's really tough and hard on them. And if you stretch them, the more you stretch them, more you're gonna risk them like just being burnt out and just want to, like, you know, get out of the industry or you know, not put in 110% into the games that they need to be putting in.
Well, not only that, Jago. I mean, you can stretch them, but what if you have deadlines for them to meet and they're not going to meet those deadlines because of resources? Exactly. I don't think Microsoft is that company that they're going to put immovable, like just ridiculous deadlines on their developers. I don't think they'll do that. But what if Microsoft does have a deadline, and here's your deadline to get us so far of a process, get so much progress this far, and they don't have it because half their studio is working on another game. So I mean, it just makes sense. And like I said, it's a very important franchise to the Xbox brand. So have everybody all hands on deck, get some other help, hire another studio, get another developing studio for another IP. It's just simple as that.
Just get rid of the freaking DBs.
So Native, you're big into Gears, so I want to hear your take on this, and then I'll give my take on it. Do you feel it's a good thing for Microsoft to be putting the coalition just on Gears? Let's talk about it.
I have to say yes. I'm glad that they chose to keep the coalition stuck primarily on Gears, and if they have any side projects going on, that's great. But the coalition did something I didn't think was possible, and that was revive Gears of War for me. Yeah. After Judgment, I fell off. After Judgment, I just wasn't interested. After Gears of War 3, I thought the story was going to be stagnated, and I just left it alone. Then Judgment comes out, excited, and the game just didn't live up to what Gears of War meant to me. So I left it alone, didn't really jump into it too much. And the Coalition comes out with Gears of War 4 and absolutely blew me away. The storyline is just amazing. No spoilers, but it leaves off of a cliffhanger, and I've been itching to find out what happens. I'm itching right now, thinking about it. And the PvP is just, it's reinvented, it's innovative. They keep updating the game with new content. You know, they have different, every week or every other week, they have some kind of, you know, add-on or something, or some kind of new skin, and it's just great. I think they should stay on it, and they should continue down that path. As far as 343 goes, just fix Halo. That's all. Just fix Halo for me, please. I want more Halo. I want better Halo. Halo 5 just didn't cut it for me, so I want something different.
Yeah, I mean
go for it.
I mean, so I'm running through Gears, right? And I haven't gone through the campaign. I know I'm a fraud or whatever, but
you haven't beat the campaign?
No. So I'm running through it with Dealer, and I played it with Fonz, and I mean on the X, I'm blown away. I'm playing in performance mode, so 60 frames a second, 1080p. It is jaw dropping what this team accomplished. It's a first party studio, and that's what we should be seeing with the power of the X. The scenery, the textures. Me and Fonz were just like, we were playing, and then we stopped and we're like, look at this skeleton, look at the light, like shining a light on the on the armor, and then the skull, and then looking at the textures. It's like you're almost spending more time in awe of the way the game looks. It feels next gen to me. So the Coalition did a great job, let's be honest, of taking this franchise, and getting it back to where it needed to be. Could it have been better in certain areas? Yeah. I mean, the first 3 chapters were kind of off for me. I didn't feel like the robots,
they're slow. Don't they feel slow?
Yeah, it didn't feel like Gears to me. Gears is more action horror, dark, messy, sloppy. Yep. It's not robots. It's not, in the daylight. So they kind of stumbled out of the gate, but it picks up steam,
Yep.
And then the more and more you do it, and then I play the PvP, and we all know about that, how successful that it is. So I think the Coalition has this huge capability of making this franchise amazing. There's scenes in there, I'm not going to spoil it just in case you haven't played it, but it does stuff that I haven't seen in Gears before. And me and Diller were talking about they need to be more innovative, but I think they were just kind of playing it safe. It's kind of like with Star Wars with the Force Awakens with J.J. Abrams. They could have they kept it safe, and it was a good movie. And then, you hope with this development team that they can push the limits in the next game. So I haven't beaten the game, but I'm close to it. But I think personally, it's kind of, I don't know. I want Microsoft to make new IPs. That's like my number one thing. But at the same time, I don't want them cutting development teams and then making them, B teams, and then have, the B teams struggle or make some, piss poor IP. So I think it's a good thing. I think that they're focusing on, keeping these billion-dollar franchises relevant, and, they're doing a good job with it. But I don't know. I think it's a double-edged sword, because they do need to get new things out there. But, with all the leaks that we've heard over the past 2 weeks, I think that Microsoft is going to surprise a lot of people out there with some new IPs and some old old titles going forward. So I don't know. You guys have anything else to add before we move on?
No.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, okay. As far as you playing, that's something that I wanted to add, but it just completely missed my mind. I 100% agree with you that the Coalition played it 100% safe with this one. And I think now that they've seen, the reception of it, how widely it was received, the scores on Metacritic, the scores from individual reviewers, people love the game. People like what it is. Granted, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about the Nasher Fest that PvP can become, but that's just always been Gears for me. It's just running in with the Nasher and blowing body parts away. And so that's something that I do agree with, that it was a very safe game. And I think that them staying on this franchise will allow them to open up a little bit more and be that much more innovative. So I'm pretty excited for it.
Yep. So anybody else before we move on?
No, I mean, no, nothing more that could be said. Just it's good that they're focused on the IP, and if you want new IPs, we'll just have to wait. That simple.
Awesome. Well, we got a big topic, and when I say big, I mean controller. The new Duke controller.
Duke.
Updated. Yes. It has updated bumpers, and it's going to be at a $70 price point US. It's going to be available.
As big as your computer monitor.
I know.
Yes,
at
sir.
End of March, according to a tweet by Seamus Blackley. So let's talk about this, guys. The Duke controller. Did you guys happen to get a chance to use that back in the day? I know I did.
Sir.
Yeah, dude.
Yes,
dude.
Yes.
It's the whole reason why I never didn't buy an Xbox, the first Xbox, until they got the small controller. I hated that Duke, man. I hated it.
I mean, I remember getting my Xbox from Best Buy, right? And I pull it out, and I'm like, "What is this?" I thought
The
it was a joke at
broadsword.
first, right? Yeah. I'm like, "Is this a joke?" Because like it's literally because I have big. I'm 6'2", right? And I have big hands, right? And I'm just like, "Dang, this thing is just a monstrosity, man! And what have they been feeding it?"
Yeah.
So
two triggers. You had the white and black button all the way at the bottom. You literally had to stretch your thumb all the way down to the bottom of the damn controller just to hit the button. I mean, it's just like, man, the Duke. Just so many good and bad memories with the Duke. Honestly, I mean,
the Duke.
Playing it when with my friend, he had an Xbox and we would play it, and I was like, this controller sucks, but we still played it because there was hella fun games to play. So you can complain about it all day. Your hands were still cramped because you love playing the games on the Xbox. So what were you gonna do about it?
Yeah, I mean, damn, a $70 price point for a re-release for this. I know it's updated with bumpers and stuff. Welsh, did you have a chance to experience the quote-unquote Duke back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, of course, man. We've got mega memories playing Halo Combat Evolved with the Duke. And the Duke. Right, let's just all pledge that if you talk about the Duke, you got to say it like that, okay?
Yeah,
we're gonna say it all night, like the Duke, man.
The Duke.
Well, seriously, for me, I think it was an okay controller. I mean, it clearly won the best design controller, but it is what it is, and I for one am quite excited that they're bringing it back. Me
too. Woo!
I didn't think I'd be that interested in the Duke, but now that I know it's coming, I think I might have to get one. I think I might have to just do it.
Hey, I mean, I think it just shows how powerful nostalgia is. You got these mini consoles dropping; those sell like hotcakes. I'm sure this thing will sell because it's just people love to go back in some imaginary time machine when they get their hands on these like relics almost, right?
Right. It's just a good collector's item, really. I mean, who's really gonna I'm pretty sure Jago might do it. Put a video if you do it, man, of you just playing Xbox with the Duke. I would love to see that. But
I need to see an unboxing video.
I need to see an unboxing
video.
I'll
get one. I'm gonna get one and I'll do an unboxing video.
Please do, because I mean, I don't think I'll cop it, but yeah, it's just like you said, it just goes to show that nostalgia, is real, and I mean, like I said, it's good for collectors if you want to collect it, and you're a big, gadget collector. You bought the Duke. I'm sure there'll probably be a limited supply, and then
I mean, hell,
you have it.
I'm excited, for being able to play my games on the go with that built-in TV screen. It's got it.
UK Dazra says fuck the Duke.
He says fuck.
That's his take. Shout out to Daz, man. I love you, man. You're an awesome part of the community. But yeah, the Duke Punk. Did you get experience with the Duke?
Absolutely, man. I was playing NFL Fever with that damn thing.
Oh, NFL Fever. Awesome.
That thing was amazing.
That game was dope.
Yeah, that game was the shit. Like at that time, man, those graphics were like unbelievable.
It was Madden, and
this is the real deal right here. But I'm a small dude. I'm 5'6". So let's just say the struggle was real using that thing for me, right? I got small hands, man.
Fucking Punk,
but like you said, man, the cramps were there, but I just kept on gaming because that's what we do.
Punk's taking muscle relaxers and playing
rubbing
with
icy
feet.
hot in his hands, man, trying to get them cramps out for real.
God damn, man.
One thing I loved about the Duke, because I'm 6'1" and it fit my hands pretty good. I still was kind of big.
Congratulations.
He's like, go ahead.
It was a good controller for people with bigger hands. Now I can imagine somebody with smaller hands, having issues with it, because it was a big controller. Let's be honest, it was a huge controller.
Good time.
Jago's like, get good, grow bigger hands.
Oh my gosh, Noof in the chat, dude.
What did Noof say?
5'6". Jesus.
Oh man!
Hey, shout out to Noof, man. I love you,
man.
Noof,
dude.
Noof's my boy.
No chill. So yeah, I mean, the Duke is awesome. I mean, for people that love it. But did you guys catch that third-party PlayStation controller that's coming out?
Yes.
It looks exactly like the Xbox One controller, just with the
Yes.
PlayStation buttons.
Yep.
What do you guys think of that? I mean,
Yeah.
Rip off.
When I first seen it,
rip off.
exactly. When I first seen it, I was like, "Oh, okay, great. PlayStation's getting an actual controller."
Oh,
That's really interesting.
burn!
Look,
No,
I mean,
I
real. Go ahead.
The-
Go ahead.
The PlayStation controller is great on its own. It's great for single player experiences. But every time I tried using it for Overwatch when I did have a PS4, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's built for PvP. It doesn't seem like it's built for quick reaction time. It isn't built for comfortable long session gaming. In my opinion, that's nothing against anybody else that thinks otherwise. I mean, that's my opinion.
No, I completely
But-
agree, dude.
I'm glad that they did get it. I'm glad that they did make this controller. So now that they can see, all right, my hands are comfortable for long sessions.
Right. Well, dude, that's what I was gonna say, because I know plenty of friends that have PlayStation who their main complaint is they do not like the controller. They don't like where the controller placement is. They don't like where the control sticks are. They just say it feels awkward. They say their hands feel way more comfortable playing an Xbox controller or any controller where the sticks are in that position. So this is good for people like that. But I mean, I don't know why they just didn't do that from the beginning.
It's true, man. So quick question to the chat. Would you predict a PlayStation 4 type controller coming over to the Xbox? I don't see it.
No.
I see the vice versa, but personally, I've held the PlayStation controller, and it's smaller. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
But
I mean, you never know. It could happen, but I mean, options are great. We always say that in the podcast. Options are good to have. You can never have too many options because different people play different play styles. But I mean, I don't see anybody. I mean, I've never talked to an Xbox guy like who wasn't like a fanboy and say, "Hey, do you like the PS4 controller better than Xbox?" They always say no because, I mean, there is something about the way that hand position is that's way more comfortable than your hand position on a PlayStation controller. I mean, that's just it is what it is.
Agreed.
Yep.
It's true. Options are good, but I have a quick question for the panel. So what's your favorite controller of all time and your least favorite controller? So we'll start with Native. What's up, man?
I think my favorite controller of all time is definitely going to be the Xbox 360 controller.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of just looking at the shape alone, how comfortable it was in my hands, the size was perfect. It was the best step up from the previous controller that I have to give it to Xbox 360. The way that they innovated that controller from the Duke was just, I mean, hands down, that's what makes it the best controller in my opinion. If you can go from one design and then the next design be that much better to where it's a completely different system, I mean, it seems like it was built by somebody else. So I have to give it to Xbox 360. That controller was perfect.
And the worst for you?
Worst, the worst controller, I would definitely have to say, I hate to do this because it's coming out at a $7 price point, but the Duke.
Oh no!
Whoa!
Oh no!
One of the worst. One of the
make
worst.
Jacob
So,
cry.
There you go.
It's that. It's
I
that.
know.
It's
I
that.
got one way worse than the Duke. I can tell you that.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it,
Let's
Jacob.
hear it. Go for it.
What's your
Okay.
best and what's your worst?
Start with your best.
Yeah, start with your best.
My favorite controller, I'm gonna have to. I mean, is the Xbox One controller because they took what was good, in
And
my
improved on
opinion, and improved on it. Yes, because the D-pad was garbage on the Xbox 360 controller. Everything else about the Xbox 360 controller, I love. So the Xbox One has got to be my favorite. And people bitch now still on Twitter like crazy people that they don't have a rechargeable battery in it. Let's break it down. I use rechargeable batteries. When you can say your console lets you know when your battery's about to die. Swap them out. I'm back to playing. Okay, well, if your controller has got a permanent battery, that means and it dies or quits taking a charge, you got to buy a new controller. So I hope Microsoft never changes you put your own batteries. So that's my favorite. The worst controller of all times, in my opinion, was for the Atari Jaguar. That damn thing had a typewriter keyboard on it with three buttons. I mean, it was, if you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. Oh my God. I don't know what they were trying to think of going with that controller. The original Atari joystick controller was better than that damn thing. I did. Jaguar's controller was horrible.
I did a poll a long time ago about controllers. There was a story, I think it was about the Duke when it was just rumored. And I did a poll about the worst controllers, and that Jaguar controller, oh my God,
it was garbage, dude. Garbage.
It looked crazy. I never played on it, but yeah, man.
It was terrible. I don't know what their IT department was thinking.
So
they were designing that shit.
Yeah, man, it looked like they jammed a typewriter with a controller and some other stuff going on. So, Punk, what's your favorite and your least favorite of all time?
I agree with Jago. The Xbox One controller is the best. Like you said, from the 360, I mean, that one was great. Yeah, the D-pad did suck. I mean, and I have small hands. The only other thing I didn't like was I know a lot of people with the bigger hands hated it too. Is that battery in the back kind of jammed your hands up where your fingers are at?
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people with the bigger hands hated that. But as far as the worst, besides the Duke, kind of going back to it, the original Nintendo controller, only because it would stab it, it stabs you in your damn palms. It's so blocky. Like,
you talking about the NES controller?
Saying, if anyone's ever gone back and actually used it again as an adult, that shit hurts.
Yeah, sharp corners.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but that's my thoughts.
Shit. Class.
So Nick, you said you're
going
to
revise. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Nick. Go for it.
Nick said he's going to transform into Saltiest Gaming. So let's hear it.
No, I have to agree with Jago. First of all, I have two favorite controllers, and I have to agree with Jago. Right? I mean, the Xbox One controller was a huge improvement of what was already good, and they made it 10 times better. I remember going back to playing 360, and I picked up that controller. And I was like, this feels so much weird in my hands versus an Xbox One controller. So I have to agree. That one is the best. My favorite, because of nostalgia, was the Nintendo GameCube. I don't know what it was about that controller. PSN Down called it trash, and that's why I was saying you're about to turn me into Saltiest Gaming because he called it trash in the chat. But the Nintendo GameCube, that was, probably one of my favorites when I was younger. It was kind of it was pretty much the same design as, an Xbox controller, where the control sticks were, the buttons were a little funky, but they had the analog triggers and everything. And so that was my favorite one, growing up. But the worst, man, I mean, Native said the Duke, but that wouldn't be mine. Mine would just have to be the Wii, man. I hated the Wii controller, dude.
Yeah,
for real talk. And then they had to come out with a classic controller, just and it was just I hated it. I absolutely hated the Wii and that design, and it looked like a TV remote and everything like that. So yeah, I'll probably get crucified by the Nintendo community. But dude, come on, let's be honest, that Wii was garbage.
I'll agree with you, Nick. One of the best Nintendo controllers of all time was the GameCube, and I only bought one game for that. I've told y'all that. For Resident Evil 4, but the GameCube controller was probably one of the best.
So you wanted to make a revision, Native?
Yeah, I think the revision that I would make was the Nintendo 64 controller. Just because of the amount of blisters I got from playing Mario Party. We had to row the damn boats. You just spin that thing in the middle of your damn palm, and that controller design, I don't know what they were thinking when they made that.
So yeah, why? What's up with the 3-prong approach with that?
Shaped like a pitchfork.
The middle. Yeah, a pitchfork. I held the 64 controller with my left hand on the left side, and then the thumbstick was on the middle, so my thumb had to reach all the way over, right?
Bro, real talk, yeah, dude. I don't know why they designed the 64 controller that way when nobody used the D-pad ever. Yep. Somebody in the chat tell me you use the D-pad because you're a damn liar. Nobody.
You're a liar.
You're a liar.
Nobody use that D-pad. Nobody use that D-pad.
Unless you were obsessed with changing the camera angles on some of those games, you use the D-pad. Otherwise, you never touch the D-pad.
No, you didn't even use the D-pad. You used the freaking yellow directional things to change the camera, so it didn't really matter. You know what I mean? You use them yellow things, and it was dude. Yeah, but I gotta agree. 64 controller, but it still is the Wii for me.
It's
still the Wii for me.
So what? Welsh, my buddy, your favorite and your least favorite of all time.
Favorite in terms of comfort and performance has to be the Xbox One, standard procedure. But without being too obvious, I know Nick Fury ain't gonna appreciate this, but my favorite controller for fun has to be the Nintendo Wii. It like to look at, it's disgusting. It looks horrible. but I used to love I used to love playing like Wii Sport and with the family and stuff, and another one, Resident Evil 4. I used to love playing that with a Nintendo Wii. Like, I don't know why, it was just different. Having to actually aim with the controller. Same goes with Madden. I used to love playing Madden on the Nintendo Wii. The controller for that was so much fun, having to actually snap the ball and throw. I thought for fun, that was my favorite controller. In terms of my worst, probably the Kinect.
Yeah.
The Kinect.
Whoa! Hold on. How are you gonna pick the Wii with motion sensor and then pick the Kinect when it's pretty much a Wii, but your body is the Wii?
Yeah, I mean, that's far left field right there, man. Wow.
Damn, Welsh like pulled a rabbit out of his house. I was like expecting certain answers.
I did.
He's like, boom, the Kinect.
Be like, oh, the Sega Genesis or something crazy like that. He's like, no, the Kinect. It's like, oh man.
Yeah,
Sega was great.
I mean, I admire what they were trying to do with the Kinect, but it just never really worked for me. I don't know why. Maybe I'm invisible and the camera just couldn't pick up on me. But I just thought like for a controlling peripheral that was meant to be the answer, like the Wii on steroids. It was meant to diminish what you thought of gaming with controllers.
Come on, man! Didn't you play Fruit Ninja?
Bruh, that was fun.
You sitting in front there like chopping the
chopping stuff. That was fun. I also like playing the Kinect golf. That was fun.
We all played Zumba.
Man.
We all did Zumba. Come on.
I did not.
The most
you
fun,
can speak for yourself on that, buddy.
The most fun I ever had with the Kinect, and it was only one game, was U-Star 2 in the movie. I don't know if you all saw that, where it puts you in like certain scenes of movies and you had to act them out. I laughed so hard the night I bought that game for the original Kinect. Oh my God. I was like, yes, it was well worth it for that one game.
I remember one time I played the Kinect and I was playing the Olympic sports, whenever you do like the long jump and the discus and all that stuff. And I was in my buddy's house and he was downstairs in the basement. I was playing with his kids and he was like, bro, what are you doing upstairs? Because I was like doing the running thing and jumping and stuff. He's like, I thought my freaking floor is gonna cave in because you were jumping up and down. I was like, oh man, come on.
You upstairs having a seizure because you're jumping around like a crazy person.
DDR.
He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm playing with your kids. He's like, well, don't do that because you almost caved in my floor, bro.
Yeah. DDR, man. Oh, you had to bring up DDR. Damn.
I was always trash at DDR, dude. So anybody who's good at DDR, I immediately don't like them.
The fact that you played DDR or tried it and figured out that you're trash, I already don't like you.
Shut up, man. It was at a party and there was some girls there, you gotta do it big with the girls, man.
Let's be honest, there were no girls there, but
hey man, mom doesn't count.
So my take, favorite controller, Xbox One X. There we go. Let's say the one that came out of the box. Yes. That was my favorite. And then my least favorite is got to be the Duke. Let's be honest. I mean, it's close with the 64 neck and actually, let me revise that. The 64 controller was whack, so we'll put that on top for the worst. This is an example of just some of the awesome conversation that you guys, we can have in this community. It's just controllers. We're talking about controllers. The type of, nostalgia it brings back is amazing. So thanks for that awesome conversation in both the panel and in the chat, but we will move on. So there was an update that was talked about I talked about on my channel, and many other people talked about it for the Xbox. So according to many sources and news stories, there's going to be a new feature coming out, and it's called the Do Not Disturb feature. So basically what they're doing is they're streamlining your ability to let people know when you're going to be online. Let's say, so you want to watch Netflix or, anything. You don't want a game, but you're on your Xbox. You have the ability to push a button. It'll let everybody know on your friends list that you're not available for gaming. And that's just the way it is. So up to this point, people have had to turn off notifications. So you have to go into your settings, turn them off. You don't know when people are messaging you, and then either that or you have to appear offline. What I want to talk about is, are you guys excited for this feature? And do you think that a lot of people appearing offline is kind of a problem? Does it annoy you? Let's talk about it. Welsh, do you want to start us off here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. What were we going to say, dude?
Go ahead. I was done.
All right. I think personally it's a good idea. It's just an added option. I mean, I for one, I mean, like I'm guilty of appearing offline once in a while. Sometimes I just want to play a game and not have like invites or whatever. I just want to get, like, especially like a game like Assassin's Creed Origins or Shadow of War, where the story's so good, the dialogue's so good. I just want to listen. There's whereas there are other times where I'll be playing a game where I don't really have to concentrate, so I don't mind being online and jumping in a party and chatting. But there's certain times, whether it be downtime when I'm watching TV on my Xbox, or if I'm playing a game where I want to have 110% of my concentration on that game, I have appeared offline. So the fact that there's going to be a do not disturb option, which basically just in the most politest way possible informs all your friends online that you are online, but you just want to be left the fuck alone. I think it's a good idea. I don't see a problem myself. I mean, if someone used that feature all the time and was becoming really antisocial, then I'd be a bit like, what's the point in ever going online if you're not going to converse and chat and play with friends? But from time to time, I think everyone deserves a break and deserves to have a bit of like solitude and a bit of their own time with themselves and the game they're playing or the film they're watching. So I think it's a good idea. Another added option to the plethora of options the Xbox offers. So yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, because how many times are you watching Star Wars, or you're with your wife and you're watching TV, and then pop up a party invite and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm watching this movie with my wife, and then you got to text your buddy or get in the party and say, hey bro, I'm watching a movie, I gotta go, that type of thing. And I was reading on it, and it was saying that whenever you turn on this feature, it will suppress all notifications. So not only does it let your friends know that you're not available, your notifications won't even pop up, so there'll be less of a distraction. I wonder how it's going to work with party chats, though. Like, will you not be able to be in a party chat? Will it mute the party chat for you? Things like that. I wonder if they're going to take it to like the next level there. That would be kind of cool. But like Welsh said, it's a good feature to have. It's not as rude of just appearing offline, and everybody knows that you're probably online, but you're appearing offline, or going through the hassle of joining a party or messaging somebody back. You won't get any notifications, and then I know that on my iPhone, like if I'm driving or my wife's driving, it'll send me a text back saying, hey, I'm driving, so I can't text you back. I wonder if it'll have a feature like that where somebody sends you a party message or a party invite, and it'll send them one notification back saying so-and-so is in do not disturb, they'll be back in such and such minute. I wonder how far they'll actually take it, but it's still a good feature. And I think it's a necessary one, because like Will said, it's a polite way of telling friends, hey, I'm busy.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I like that idea. I also would love to see this feature implemented, and that would be setting a certain time period where it's do not disturb. Because I know, as you guys know, I am my username, my gamer tag is constantly on Netflix. That's all it ever says, is watching Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
That's just because my kids use it as as their TV. That's the media center. That's the only thing that's ever on, is the Xbox. So it would be nice to set, from 6 a.m. to the time that I got out of work to do not disturb, because I get messages on my phone, the notifications from the Xbox app saying, oh, so-and-so invited you to a party. And I know that either that pops up on the screen, and that notification sound annoys my wife and everything. So it would be great to be able to set that period of time to do not disturb. But as far as the offline thing, that shit annoys me. It's like if you're in the party and you're, no offense, punk.
No offense.
No offense. But it's frustrating for me to be like, oh, I need to invite this dude to the party because they're texting me, or because I know that they're on. They just sent me a message or whatever, and I have to scroll through my friends list to find their name, then send them the invite. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy, or if that bothers you guys, great. But I hate scrolling. I hate it. So
He's like,
just be online. Just show online. Damn it, just do it.
Yeah. So, Punk, are you going to defend yourself, Mr. Offline?
Oh, absolutely. All day. All day. No, okay. First thing, it's a great option. It's good to have. But to me, do not disturb is the same thing as offline. Guess what? I don't want to be disturbed. That's why the hell I'm offline. That's the way I see it. That's just my take on it. It is what it is. But Salty, I talked to you about certain people that I know, so
yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
There's certain people that I have to appear offline for that reason, because you can't do anything at all once you sign on. They're that person, and you sign on, you got the party invite. You're like, damn, my screen's still loading up, because it'll sign you on before the rest of your stuff loaded up. And like that's ridiculous, dude. You do what you got to do. It's a great feature, man. I could go on all day about really how I feel, but I'm not going to. It's just on top of that, like the people that are watching Netflix and everything, stop sending them invites. Like when I see that, I don't do that.
Damn, that's a salty take right there.
Like, yeah, man. Like, it's just I see y'all watching Netflix. I'm not going to send you that. I'm going to hit you on the phone, like, hey, man, when you're done or something, you want to play a game? Cool. And that's how I would go about it. But we don't know. Yeah, we don't know how far what all it's going to offer. There might be some little things in there. Like, what if it says "Do not disturb"? I have it as "Do not disturb," but I'm fucking game with all you guys. It's like, man, this bastard says he don't want to be disturbed. He's a game with everybody else except me. I mean, there's a lot we don't know about it. So
it'd be funny if you personalize it. It's like, "Do not disturb me, native."
Oh, that'd be great, man.
See, there you go. That would be fun,
man.
So
that's how I feel, though, man.
The thing that is weird is like so Xbox is trying to make it like social media, right? You can have followers, which I don't understand, in the gaming experience. Like if I don't want to be your friend, okay, first of all, this might sound rude or whatever, but it's not. Okay, there's like friends and then there's followers, and you have followers, you don't know who really is following you, then they can invite you to parties and then they can see everything that you do. This kind of becomes an issue. But then also, like you're online all the time for like Netflix or TV, or you use your Xbox for a lot of different things. So it's a weird environment. I think this is a great addition because, I personally didn't like showing offline because people didn't know if I was really online or if I was trying to, avoid them. Now they'll know specifically, hey, I'm doing other things other than gaming, because believe it or not, people use their Xbox for other things other than gaming,
Yep.
And it doesn't make them any less of a gamer. I mean, some of the hardcore people out there, try to rip on people for being on Netflix all the time and whatever. But I think it's awesome. And I think that the offline mode is good now. It would be kind of a situational thing, like Punk was saying. If you have people that are harassing you or you can't be on when they're on, because of the things that they say or do, then show offline. I mean, it's just features and options.
I think it's a good option. The only time I would actually use it, honestly, would be when I'm watching like a 4K Blu-ray. Because I can't stand the pop-up, because I'm the type of person, if I'm cool with you and all the people I've met since podcasting, I have them as, you get so much favorites. So they always show up when, they jump online, because I want to know where my friends are online. So, but when I'm watching a movie, I want that to like be suppressed, that to go away. But that'd be honestly the only time I would use the do not disturb. I don't have a problem with people but I'm the type of person, if I'm on a game with you, I'm not going to just, unless we're really cool, and I've jumped into people's parties, but unless I'm really cool with you, I just don't jump in, or I don't send you a message. I will tweet you or something first, just to be polite, or, because, you never know what people are doing, or you don't want to seem like a dickhead. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah. It's cool. True. I mean, it's features, and I don't think anybody out there would say that features are a bad thing other than haters. So I look forward to this feature going forward. So if anybody has anything else to add, if not, we'll go on to the next topic.
Okay. I think we covered it.
Yeah, PUBG is in the news again. If you guys didn't know, PUBG had 2 updates this week, which is amazing, because when the game came out, it was rough. It was super rough. It had dropping issues. People were getting dropped out of matches. Frame rate was horrible. Hit detection was bad. The controller layout was bad. But Bluehole's been focused on making this game better, and I've talked about it. I said they're going to get, people in here. They're going to test the server stability, and they're going to, optimize and optimize and optimize. And the game's just going to keep getting better. I didn't know that they were going to put out 2 updates a week. So the first update was adding first person only mode, which was awesome. And then they were improving, people getting drop connections and some other things. And then the second update was to change your button mapping, because if you guys didn't know, to aim down sights, you had to tap the left trigger button. You don't, what is it, right trigger or left? I can't think right now, but it's one of the left triggers.
It was left.
Yeah. So you had to tap it to aim down sights. So if you hold it down like you're accustomed to in first person shooters, it won't aim down sights. So they have another option to where you can do that now. So they've improved rubber banding, drop connections. The scenery looks way better. Let's just talk about the fact that so Aaron Greenberg came back out and he had a tweet and he said that PUBG is excited to announce that they have 3 million players on Xbox. And I asked him, I said, is that concurrent? Is that cells? And he said, and he tweeted me back and he said it's 3 million players over 3 weeks. So he didn't specifically say it, but that doesn't mean concurrent, because it's impossible, because that's the kind of numbers you're seeing on PC with like 25 million plus. But 3 million is 3 million, right? So let's get into this. Are you excited about these updates with PUBG? Native, do you want to talk about this first, because I know you play the game a lot? Native, you there?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh,
all right. I guess he's not available.
Thanks
Welsh,
for the response.
Yeah, Welsh. Welsh,
okay, my bad.
All right, Native, you there? All right, let's go.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, no, I love the updates. The first person only mode, that thing is difficult as hell. I'm still trying to get used to it. It's tough though. It's insanely tough. The field of view is small, and my peripheral vision in the game is just not up to par, so it's difficult. But no, I have not crashed. I've played I can't even tell you how many matches I've played, just a crap ton, and I have not crashed at all since the updates hit. And that for me is phenomenal. I can jump in a game and play all the way through until I'm dead, and that's just great. Today I did experience a little bit of rubber banding. It's weird. I rubber banded the plane. Actually had some rubber banding issues, so jumping out was kind of strange. But I'm loving the updates so far. They're great, and I actually really want to give a huge shout out to the developer. They're doing such an amazing job. I'm blown away by their support, because I played the culling. The support for that game was just absolute shit.
Yeah,
there was none.
Yeah,
there was no support.
Yeah, I had the game, and I agree.
Yeah, so there's that, and then PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds coming out and doing what they're doing, and just the amount of support that's there, it's phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah,
and I can't wait to see what else they're gonna add. I want to see more ways to earn that stupid RP, because I'm addicted to opening those crates. But there's only one way to do it, and that's just to be really freaking good.
Struggle is real.
Yeah, serious.
So who else plays PUBG? I know Punk plays it. Nick, Jago, you play it. Welsh, do you play the game?
Oh, of course. Absolutely
Welsh.
Brilliant game.
Oh yeah, Welsh. So what do you think of these updates and the 3 million total?
Well, PUBG, it's a very controversial game at the minute. It's getting a bit of love, a bit of hate. It's safe to say it's not a polished game. It's got its issues, but I've been having loads of fun with it, man. And like the rubber banding and the hit marks, it's certainly there's certainly a lot of room for improvement. But the fact that the guys over at Bluehole are updating it so regularly, I think it's phenomenal. For me, it kind of just proves how good the Xbox is as a platform for a game in such early stages of development to be on that said platform, because like the communication between the gaming community, the Xbox community, and the Bluehole dev, the feedback they must be getting on a weekly basis, hence why they're doing these little patches, these little updates. it's just phenomenal, man. I mean, you can't fault it. The support for this game is massive, and the 3 million player count is a huge crediting factor of what I was just saying about the support. It's a massive support network. It's a fun game. It's got its issues, but it's a fun game, and it can only improve. That's what people keep forgetting. You get loads of people who slag it off because of rubber banding or because of this or because of that, and it's like, it's in preview mode, guys, and considering it's in preview mode and it is in very, 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 very infant stages of development, it's playing very well, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So the more it updates, the better, and it can only get better here on out. And I think the support is brilliant, the feedback's great, and as the gamer and Bluehole as the developer, we're all benefiting from it. It's a win. It's a win-win for both people.
So Welsh, I just want to quickly ask you, this game received a lot of news and negative press with the way it performed when it came out. Do you think a lot of those people are eating crow at this point? Because with the amount of updates that are coming out and the way that the game's playing right now, the developers obviously showing that they're committed to this game. I heard some people out there that said, the preview program's not good because developers can be lazy, and this just, I think, shows the importance of the preview program and the fact that they're committed to making their game better. What do you think about that? Do you think people jump the gun on talking negative about this game, or what was up with that?
I think you're right, mate. I think people are eating crow. I think people are getting proper salty over it, really. And pardon the pun, as we are the saltiest podcast. But no, nice. I just think when you really break it down, like this game, before it even came over to the Xbox, it was on the PC for a whole year. And I do not recall. I mean, I'll take the L if I'm wrong. Please, someone in the chat, drop a link in the chat if to an article or to a review or to a channel on YouTube, whatever. But I do not recall this game getting that level of backlash the whole time it was in development on the PC. But now that it's on Xbox, and obviously there's a lot of PlayStation people who want it on the PlayStation, and I just think it has received a lot of hate, a very unnecessary hate, and people are giving Xbox a hard time for having the preview program. But it's like, the preview program has given this developer the ability to bring their game over to console, which was always their plan, to branch their game out. So I just think, just to be blunt, all the people that have been given this game shit since it dropped on the Xbox are salty as all hell. Like that, it can only be that. It can only be that they don't like the fact that Xbox has secured this IP as a console exclusive for the foreseeable future, and it's just evident, and because you never saw this level of backlash the whole time it was on PC. It's only started because it's on Xbox. So yeah, I do think people are eating crow big time.
Let me take something you said a step forward, because you said the preview program was good because it allowed Microsoft to get these games, and Salt said people say the preview program is bad because developers can be lazy. But let's put it this way: if PUBG, let me just ask a question: if PUBG was announced that it's going to come out on all consoles, and they put the game out, and it was as bad as it was on the releases as the preview because they didn't know how to port it to console, and they were working on it, and they had no clue, how bad do you think Bluehole would get bashed for putting out such a crap product for both consoles? Like it would have been just a crap storm of just absolute bashing, like Mass Effect Andromeda. It would have been bad for Bluehole. So I mean, yeah, it's good that they had this game in preview, and it's good that they're putting the updates that they're putting forth, and the game is only getting better. And everybody on this panel, that when we talked about it, said it's only going to get better. They're going to keep making updates. I didn't think it would be as frequent as they have been. I thought maybe it'd be like one a month or every so, and we just deal with it. But they've been at it, what it seems like every week or every 2 weeks. They've just been at it, making an update, and the game is just improving. And Salt, you said something, I think we were talking about, you said that you think that if they keep going at this pace, they'll be able to actually get the frames pretty high. And I would have to agree with you on that. I think that if they keep at it the way they're going, they keep improving on gameplay, they keep improving on mechanics. Rubber banding isn't as bad. You don't get kicked as much. The frames have gotten way, way better. It's only going to get better. So yeah, people are probably going to start eating crow. Dude.
Someone made a video about myself and other people in the community talking about the frame rate, because I made a video saying, because it was a quote by Player Unknown, the dude that is the main guy when it comes to PUBG. He said it was hitting 60 frames on the X. So I went with that story. I was in this montage of fanboys, don't know what they're talking about. Yep. Oh, they're eating crow or blah, blah, blah. But here's the deal. The thing that you got to understand is, like, so we had all these haters shitting on the game when it first came out, and it was a preview game, but I don't hear those same people giving the game props. I haven't seen shit about that. No,
and what Noof said right here, Noof said those fans saying the fans saying thanks Xbox for beta testing are pretty much saying they already want the game.
Exactly.
Hands down. So
yeah, so that's the problem that I have. If you're going to dump on a game and be negative about it, I mean, show some love when it's doing the right thing. So that's what everybody was saying with the rational mind. This is a preview program game, and then you get the people, the naysayers. Oh, the way Microsoft is advertising this game, it should be perfect right off the bat. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. You guys need to look up the definition of preview program.
It's called preview for a reason. I mean, it's not hard to understand unless you just got an IQ of like 10. Give me a break.
So I guarantee you, all the people that dumped on me and other people for saying it was going to be 60 frames, because the dev came out and said that, when it gets optimized and it hits that 60 frames, target on the Xbox One X, I guarantee you nobody's going to be coming back and saying, "Oh, Salt, I'm sorry for taking a shit on you," or blah, blah, blah. The game is awesome. And eventually when it goes to PlayStation and it's perfect, no one will thank the Xbox players or Xbox for, taking the reins. Because to be honest, if Xbox didn't have the preview program, I don't think that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds would have ever come to console, because the development team that was developing the game, they said that they had no experience with bringing it to console. So it is what it is. It's on Xbox first, and we're all enjoying it. Anybody else have any more thoughts?
I'm just letting you know now. You will not receive any salty apologies. I can tell you that.
Technically, we'll receive no apologies, dude. And like I said, what if this would have released on console before both consoles, before they had any chance to get any feedback, and it came out like the way it did?
Yeah. I mean,
everybody would have been
garbage and trash.
It would have been garbage and trash, and everybody wouldn't have been bashing it, and it would have been DOA. Now they have a chance to fix it.
It'd have been in the same bin as Lawbreakers.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
So I had one thing to say, and that was something just in response to the Welsh gamer, and that was along the lines of, Bluehole didn't receive any backlash because they released it on PC, and if it wouldn't have come to consoles at all, something along that. I think there's a question that lies in there, and that's what games on PC. When a game releases on PC, I normally don't look at them. One, because I don't have a PC, and two, because I tend to think, okay, the games that are on PC are releasing on PC because the consoles are a closed system and can't handle it, and we can't upgrade the hardware in the actual console. So I tend to just kind of overlook those games. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds was one of those for a long time. Since it dropped, I would see it here and there, and I'd be like, oh, that's a really cool concept. I would love to have a Battle Royale game, but I never had hope that PUBG would come to console. So that raises a question, because now that Xbox has their preview program, and they're saying, all right, anything that's on PC, we can bring over. Depending on if the developers, gonna play ball, but now that that's an option, and PlayStation doesn't have that option, they have like this whole new area to just bitch about. It's like, okay, then you as consumers for PlayStation, you as PS4 players and part of that huge install base, why don't you say something to PlayStation? Tell them, hey, we want this game preview program that Microsoft has. Why can't you guys do something similar? Why aren't we getting that same amount of love and respect as players? From you, the company, from you, Sony. instead of bitching about, oh, they're Xbox players are just beta testing it for us PS4. No, why aren't they banding together, uniting, and telling Sony, hey, we want a preview program. We want to play these games just as much as Xbox players. And that question crossed my mind, and no, I'm just gonna throw it out to you guys. What do you think? What's hindering the fans, the PlayStation fans from doing that? Is it out of spite? Are they not doing it because Xbox does it already?
I just think it comes down to the fact that we haven't really experienced a game coming over from PC to console that has had the buzz and the excitement.
No.
And it's just a phenomenon that PUBG has had.
I don't think I've ever seen a game that started on PC coming to any console that's had this biggest
impact.
buzz. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the real deal. I mean, you had games like the Culling come out that, die off, or, Ark came out and then it came to PlayStation afterwards. But I think it just comes down to, like I said, we haven't had a game on this level. So PlayStation has, the stance that they need finished games and finished products on their system. And until there's a lot of games that are generating buzz and they're coming over immediately to the Xbox console, it's not going to be a big issue for them. That's just my take.
Yep.
So,
I'll just have fun playing my PlayerUnknown beta grounds while they have nothing.
PlayerUnknown beta grounds.
I'll enjoy
PlayerUnknown beta ground. So, if anybody else has anything to say about the subject, or we'll move on. Okay, moving on. The next topic is a salty one, that's for sure.
Yes, it is.
We did an actual impromptu podcast about it. Xbox outsold PlayStation in December MPD, according to Aaron Greenberg. He came out and he's saying that we're doing, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, yeah, Xbox did very well. He didn't give specifics out, and then there's a PlayStation fan that came out and said, well, by the way you're talking, it's either Switch or PlayStation that came on top. And he's like, well, I wasn't going to get specific. This is paraphrasing again, but he said Xbox outsold PlayStation, and then the Switch was won overall. So we talked about that. It's been months since the Xbox outsold the PlayStation, and this is why it's important to Xbox gamers. It's not just Xbox gamers, it's gamers in general. It's important because, before the Xbox One X came out, Xbox was struggling to hit 100,000 in a month when it comes to consoles sold. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of PlayStation and dudes out there that probably foresaw the future, and they didn't think that Xbox was ever going to outsell the PlayStation 4. So I think it's a good sign for not just the Xbox One console and its brand, but it's good for the Xbox One X, because if you look at the data, you got to put, two and two together. You got to understand that there's a lot of Xbox One X's that are in the equation. It's not just Xbox One S's that are going to be sold. So the question to the panel, you guys saw the reaction on social media. I got a lot of hate, the video and stuff like that. Why is it that the PlayStation people are moving the goalposts when it comes to MPD and stuff, and then they're attaching themselves to Switch sales now? Let's start off with the Welsh gamer. Why do you think there's such backlash for Xbox gamers talking about outselling the PlayStation? They're just saying, oh, you guys are excited about second place, etc. I just want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I just think ever since 2013, with the launch of this generation, PlayStation have always led the way with unit sales. They always led the way when it came to power and resolution. They always sort of led in certain areas, and they always were the first ones to gloat about it. But because with the Xbox One X having taken the power crown away from them, I see it all the time in my video comment section or on Facebook or Twitter. You got your ponies talking about unit sales and stuff, and for me it's like, I don't know how you can talk about unit sales as if you make get checks cut from Sony They talk about it like they work for Sony. Some of them, they're proper fanatical. But I just think because Microsoft beat Sony in the previous MPD, but they didn't beat the Switch. It's just a desperate claw at straws, just to discredit what the Xbox One X has done. And again, they're just salty. I'm finding myself using the phrase "salty" more.
That happens, bro. It happens, bro.
Yep.
But it's just you've got to call a spade a spade. It is just as clear as the sky is blue. They don't like the fact that they don't have power, and now that they've actually lost an MPD now, which some of them are turning in their bloody sleep because of it. It's just they're just siding with the only system out there that has beat the Xbox in terms of sales. It's hilarious. I find it very sad, to be honest with you. Like it's there's not many ways to describe it other than these guys clearly have not a lot going for them other than their sad pissing contest.
Ooh,
Yep.
get them!
Damn, that was a salty take, and I like it, man. I mean,
yeah.
I just
let's be honest.
I just speak the truth.
Yeah, man, you're keeping it salty, and that's what we like here on the Saltiest Podcast.
Ooh, get them.
So the point that I took from what you were saying is gamers should be excited that the big three is doing very well, right? That it's very healthy, but instead, some of these fanboys are segregating the consoles and saying, picking one over the other and telling people that they're excited about second place. That's the biggest issue, right? I mean, let people be happy for what they're happy about. It's Native, what's your take on this whole thing, man? I mean, are people moving the goalposts? What's going on, man?
Yeah, people are moving the goalposts, and I don't understand why. I mean, I don't get it. It's always been the top three. Okay, who's number one, who's number two, and who's number three? And you go down the line from there. Oh, look, Switch beat both of these guys. Next one you look at is, oh, look, Xbox beat PS4. And then PS4, oh, they didn't have it in the bag this time, but that hasn't been the case for the past 15 months. I mean, it's astounding that people are actually coming, fanboys especially, are coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, well, Switch won overall. And it's like, but you're not looking at the console that you're representing. You're not, why dismiss that? Be happy about it. Congratulate one another, because in the end, we all win as consumers.
Exactly.
Just like you said, Salt, we all win. We all win from this competition.
Can't we as Xbox fans agree on, be happy about a certain victory? We can post more what we want to on like social media and be happy our console of choice is, doing well. Because like Irrelevant said, the more Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft do well, it's going to, at the end of the day, be better for us. Makes them more money, which enables them to bring out more IPs and to innovate. But if you got Xbox attached to anywhere, anybody can look at my logo right now and know, well, either he likes the original Killer Instinct, which I do, or he must like the Xbox, because where's the only place you can play Killer Instinct?
Get 'em.
The Xbox. But Sony fanboys, they just take everything, or anyone. It's not just Sony. It's like every other fanboy out there, other than Microsoft, they want to hate on Microsoft, and I do not understand why. It really irks me, dude. That's why a lot of times I don't try to stay away from social media, but I don't jump on it a lot, or I may not like jump in with y'all, in the Discord. I don't have time at the end of the day, and the more shit I see, a lot of times just pisses me off so bad. So I can't stand it, dude. And let's be honest. If people say there isn't a media bias against Microsoft, and Jay Fondrella would probably disagree with me right now, there is. You're blind. You need to get some glasses, bro, because there is. I'm serious.
Throwing that salt. These niggas throwing salt out, man.
He's definitely gonna have he'll have an issue with that.
I have a slight issue with that. I don't buy the bias. I don't buy it. I mean, this is coming
There
from somebody
is.
who
There is, man.
there isn't though. I mean, you can see. I mean, I could if it was on the same lines. When I think of media bias, I think of one area in particular, and that's when it comes to atheism and religion. There's a big, huge media bias gap there. That's what I consider media bias. You know, if one person does one thing and they represent atheism, it's the story is told in such a demeaning way, other than a Christian doing something and it being come out different.
Yes, look,
there's a media bias there.
The lazy black gamer just put IGN. Perfect.
Okay, so here's the deal. This is a very I've had issues with this topic because, or first of all, with Jago talking, the negativity, it does weigh you down. Okay, I'm on social media all the time because it's critical to growing.
It is,
YouTube and stuff like that, right? So I'm on there, and it does weigh me down. I'm not gonna lie, like the negative bullshit that I hear from fanboys. Like here's what I've told many of my friends. Basically, when it comes to religion or politics, you're not out there on the streets for the most part. Some people are. You're not out there trying to change people's opinion. You're not on this quest. You're letting people have their opinions and letting them live. But when it comes to fanboys, they feel like they need to take up this quest.
Yes.
Or this charge to go correct other people.
Yes.
And it's just not necessary. It's annoying as fuck. I'll be honest, okay?
Yeah.
So just because some people think that there's media bias and some people don't, it doesn't mean you need to take up a charge and go correct them. Okay.
Exactly.
So my take on the situation is there is forms of media bias, and that stems from people wanting to make money. If it's Xbox that has the biggest player base, then they'll want to make money. If it's PlayStation, they want to make money. PlayStation has a significant lead when it comes to user base. So therefore, these media outlets, they want to make money. If you don't think that they want to make money, you got to do some research. That's the same thing with these consoles. That's the same thing with anything that's a business. They want to make that bottom line. They want to make dollar bills.
That's it. That's it. At the end of the day, it's about money. And who's got the biggest bandwagon to jump on, which is the PS4. That's why you see more IGNs and GameSpots, and they tend to tailor articles and videos towards promoting and hyping the PlayStation brand.
Jago, I'm not gonna disagree with you, but it's not an all or nothing preposition. Okay, it's not all or nothing, because that's the way people are trying to make it. It's not all or nothing. Because I heard on both sides, it's like, well, if media bias existed, then they would never say anything good about Xbox. It's like, well, it's not black or white. They do say things about Xbox because they want to make money. The thing is it exists. Us as human beings, we have the predisposition to be biased in some form or another. We have preference. Like you go into an ice cream shop, you have a preference for flavor.
You're biased against certain flavors. Yeah, exactly.
So Welsh, I got to hear this is kind of mutated into media bias, but I want to hear your take on MPDs and let's be straight up about it. I want to hear, do you think media bias exists? If why or why not? Go.
Well, I think it's down to perspective, really, because I can't deny that media bias doesn't exist. I think it does exist in certain forms. I just think nowadays, especially with gaming, but it's everywhere. It's not just gaming. It's in the film industry, like the bias towards Marvel over DC. Like DC will get a hard time with reviews, but Marvel gets like praised regardless. Like, and I'm a big Marvel fan myself, and I still see it. But like when it concerns these consoles, I just think there is a bandwagon, and while the bias might not be like on an emotional level, like, oh, I love PlayStation, I love it so much, but Xbox is shit. I think it's more on a professional level. I'm not saying it is professional and what they're doing, but it's like, it's to generate revenue, like you said. It's all about those clicks. It's about money. It's about like, you know, end of the day, it's a business practice. If you're a journalist and you want to make a name for yourself, and you want your name, and you know, you want you want to start raking in the money, you want your articles to be clicked on, or your videos to be watched, or you know, you're going to jump on the strategy of, oh, well, maybe if I title it this way and I talk about the PlayStation and say that the Xbox is then I'll get more clicks, and that's more bread and loaves of bread for my family, and more lights on, and you know, my rent paid at the end of the month. So I think there is definitely something amiss. I do think it needs to be curbed a little bit, because there's no referee. There's no one putting people in check. But I do think it might not be so much on an emotional level, like the ground level fanboys you come across on social media, but more of a clickbait kind of thing for money. I do think that it does exist in a sense, but it depends how you look at it, really.
Yeah. So, Punk, what's your take on this situation, man?
I don't even know where to begin. You guys pretty much said it all. No, man. I mean, like you said, if we get a little bit of light, it's like, how dare you?
Exactly.
I mean, we can't enjoy anything, which it sucks. But yeah, there's definitely fanboys out there. There's nothing you can do about that. And like a lot of you guys said, it also depends on how much you read into all this stuff. Like, anyone who's talked to me, like, it does suck. I hate reading it, but I don't let it get to me as much. But it's definitely there, and you just got to live with it.
Yep. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, so that's the good thing.
Really not.
That's the good thing about YouTube today. You don't have to go to these sites, believe it or not. They're not holding, any weapon to your head.
Nope.
You're not forced to watch these sites. If you don't like what they have to say, turn on smaller YouTubes like myself, Saltiest Gaming.
Yeah.
Shameless
but like you
plug.
said, Salty, I mean, this is the stuff that it sells though too. And that's why you have your channel. You talk about these things.
In today's day and age, with podcasts becoming more prevalent, and like we all know each other, and people may say, "Well, that's just because y'all know each other. That's why y'all watch each other's videos." No, I would rather take the opinion of a smaller guy who isn't trying to make whatever how much like IGN makes, whatever. I would rather take his opinion, or dealers, or anybody's smaller channel over this huge channel. It's all they're trying to do. I would rather take y'all's opinion over anybody else, because I would trust that way more than these, like the IGNs and the GameSpots that seem like they're biased. To me, fuck that. No, I'm not. No. In today's, I mean, why would you? Well, that's why IGN and GameSpot and I can't even think of any other ones right now that I used to watch. That's why they're losing views, because people are getting, they're getting sick of it. They can see it for themselves.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't remember the last time I went to IGN.
It's been a long time,
bro. I unsubbed a long time ago. I get my news generally from the smaller YouTubers out there on both sides. It's not just one or another, and you get to. That's the good thing about freedom of choice. You get to pick, man. Pick your favorite and move on with it, right? But please don't attack people for their choices, dude. On either side. It's just not cool. Stupid. It comes off as I don't know how to explain it. Pompous. It's just weird, man. So if you feel like someone has an opinion that you don't like, it doesn't mean you can't be friends as well. Let's grow up.
Right.
Let's
At the end of the day, everyone's entitled to a preference. So
yes,
if you don't let anyone tell you how to spend your money and what to do with your spare time. So
exactly,
if someone's so emotionally dysfunctional that they can't accept that you prefer an Xbox over PlayStation, or vice versa, or you're getting your news from IGN over GameSpot or whatever, then fuck them. I don't want to know that person.
Yeah,
it's true, man. So
I agree.
You guys have anything else? We have the last topic of the night coming up. It's a juicy one. Do you have anything that you guys want to talk about before we move on?
No, I think it's good. I think we said what you needed to say. Yeah,
I think there was an awesome conversation, and believe it or not, you can talk about things without hating each other.
Well, all I got to say is real quick, dude, because I'm the Nintendo guy in the group. Sony boys, keep Nintendo out your damn mouth. That's what I want to say about that, dude. Real talk. Real talk. Here's the deal, man. Like, because they never said anything about Nintendo won in October. They never went out and started bashing Nintendo people because they won the NPD in October, and then they won back in November. Now all of a sudden, December, now they got something to say because they were third and Xbox beat them. Like, real talk, I had this dude. I said something on Twitter. I said, Nintendo wins and Xbox is 2 and PlayStation 3, and this is nothing but good for the gaming industry that there's actually competition now.
Yes.
And this dude was like, oh, so Xbox dudes can celebrate about being in second in place. And I was like, dude, you guys have sold 75 million consoles. You've literally outsold more than the Xbox and Nintendo Wii combined. And you want to talk about how it's trash all of a sudden and talk about how the Xbox is trash and the Wii's trash, and there's numbers to prove that you guys outsold everybody. But then you want to say, "Oh, the Xbox is actually really good competition, but it's still trash." You can't have both.
No.
You can't have it both ways.
No.
Pick one or the other. Shut up. Leave Nintendo out your mouth because you guys were in third. That's what I got to say about that. That stuff jacked me up when I read that. Like, y'all gonna jump on my bandwagon.
God, Nick hated, bro.
You ain't jumping on my bandwagon, bro.
Nick turned the salt levels up to Salt Lake City levels. All right.
Exactly.
Bro, that dude, man, real talk. That stuff made me mad.
That was a good way to
hear it. I can hear your voice, bro. I can tell.
Yeah, it was a good way to conclude that. So, this is a topic that is very interesting. I've seen lots of. So when I post videos, I see some that do get a lot more traction than other. There's a lot of interest for this topic, so this is why I'm bringing it up. Express.co.uk talked about, this was the title. It says Sony PlayStation News, blah, blah, blah. Killer PS4 feature coming to Xbox One X, nothing for Switch. So that's a clickbait title, right? It's odd. It's just this title to generate views. But basically what this story was talking about is that, to sum it up, they were saying that PlayStation 4 has the market when it comes to VR. Jago knows personally about, the PSVR, right? VR King.
Yes.
So what they were saying is that, Microsoft has been focused on mixed reality, and they've been waiting for the software to get to the point where they feel comfortable about putting it on their system. So basically, they're waiting for it to come in the pipes before they launch VR on the Xbox One X. He says, the person that wrote this article, I'll link it in the description, he believes this feature will be launched on the Xbox One X, touting that it could arrive late 2018. So he's not saying that's going to be first party, but he's saying that Xbox was waiting for the software to get developed enough and be polished enough for them to feel comfortable. So basically what he's getting at is they'll talk about it this E3. Let's talk about this real quick. It was kind of a dig at the Switch, the fact that the console's not powerful enough to run VR, and it would put them at a disadvantage. It also is just, talking about Xbox One X having VR capabilities. Do you guys think this is something that the Xbox should have? Let's talk about it. Let's begin with Punk. What do you think about this?
No, man, more is good, man. More is definitely good. Anything Microsoft can bring to the table, I mean, I'm all for it. But since we've seen PlayStation do it, they kind of took the back seat. Make sure people actually enjoyed this. Make sure it did sell a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we can just sit back and be like, okay, now obviously we made the X, so we know it can handle it. And just the games, I mean, maybe they're developing games, and realistically they got to be in development, right?
Yeah,
it has to be. So like I said, more is good, man. I'm all about it. I'm with you, Salty, with the whole motion sickness thing. But if I were to buy one, it would definitely be on Xbox.
Yeah. So, Welsh, what do you think? Do you think this was a dig at the Nintendo? Do you think it's kind of an oversight? I saw Noof talk about the fact that the lack of internal memory, and that's huge. I mean, it's like 32 gigs right now. They're not going to have 64 for a while. But do you think this is something that the Xbox should look at? I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, VR, while it's kind of only aimed at a certain demographic, I mean, I can't imagine it becoming mainstream unless there's like a really killer app for it, like a really good game that like warrants everyone think, oh, I'm going to go out and buy a VR headset for that game or whatever. But I think it's good. I think it's definitely another option that the Xbox could have in its arsenal, which would appeal to people who want to get involved with VR. I think it's a good idea. I'm certainly not against it. I don't know how I feel about it personally. I'm yet to actually use VR on any VR. I've not used anything, so I can't really say whether it's good or bad. But I'd be more inclined to try it if obviously it was on the Xbox, because then I'd have a means to be able to use it. But no, I do think that that article was a bit of a dig, and it was definitely clickbait. And I said to you in a DM earlier, Salty, I don't understand how the way that article read. The Xbox is getting the PS4's killer feature, when one, the PlayStation VR is not a feature, it's a peripheral.
Yep.
And the Sony and PlayStation did not pioneer and or invent VR.
No.
It was around before PSVR. So I don't see how Xbox is acquiring a killer PlayStation feature when PlayStation didn't invent it in the first place. It just all seems very funny to me. But onto the more pressing matter of like if it came over, I think it's a good idea. Again, options is good to have. You can never have too many options. But I do like the fact that Microsoft are taking their time with it. They want to drop the news that VR is coming when they have probably a few things lined up that can justify you buying a VR. Because I'm yet to see that killer game that makes me think, oh wow, I need to fucking get myself a VR headset.
Resident Evil 7.
Okay, again, I'm yet to see. But fair dues. If there is already that something out there that is decent and worth getting it, big ups to people who have got their hands on it, and I'm sure I'll get round to it. But I just want to see Microsoft, like you said, Salty, at E3. If they do announce something, I want them to show off like a couple of games which have been developed from the ground up to like utilize this bit of tech, and to be absolutely like mind blowing. Like this is what VR should be. And if Xbox is going to do it and do it correctly and do it right and do it well, I'm all for it. It's definitely something I'd be intrigued to see.
It's true, man. I think they have this approach, and it's going to be a good one, because if it's not a first party peripheral, they get the opportunity that they don't have to take up that much time with their conferences showing off games and stuff like that. They can pick and choose which ones they want to do, and they've waited for the cost to go down and the software to improve. I think this would be a big pop moment at the conference if they announce it. I think a lot of people would be excited about it. Who else haven't we talked to? Native, what's your takes on this situation?
Xbox One X having the capability for VR, it doesn't surprise me. I guess first off, it really doesn't surprise me. I mean, with the power that's packed into the X, from what I've read, from what I've heard, it really doesn't surprise me that VR would. I mean, there is a capability for VR. It's pretty neat. I mean, I'm not one for VR. I don't really care too much about it. I've heard good things about Resident Evil 7. So that is something that I would like to try out, but it's just, it really isn't my thing, so I don't tend to follow it too much. But I mean, for those who enjoy PSVR and also have an Xbox One X or are prefer Xbox One X over PlayStation, but don't have that VR system, I think it would be a really good announcement for them. I think it'd be a neat announcement, and I'd like to see what they would do differently. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm just throwing this into the wind. I would love to see a Fable VR game. I mean, just throwing that out there. That would be neat.
Let's get the real Fable game first before we get the VR game.
It would be neat. It would be neat.
Yeah. Nick, are you the last one? Do we hear from you? Do you think it's a dig at your Nintendo people that your system's just not powerful enough to cut it?
I mean, it more likely is. You know how people are.
There's no way. There's no way.
You know how people are, but no. I mean, what I look at it is these companies know what their player base wants. These companies know they hear from their player base all the time. And Xbox probably knows that the majority of their player base probably isn't clamoring for VR. And so they might as well be better off letting somebody from third party handle it versus them putting all the resources into it. You know what I mean? They need to focus on what they've been focusing on is their games, focus on some IPs. And if somebody comes up and says, hey, we want to do VR and give you, and you know, we want to put VR on your system, you can support it, and it's a third party company, sure, why not? PlayStation, I mean, it's good that they have their VR, but you know, we already went over the numbers. It's like how many million, 1.5 million sold, and that's only how many PlayStation have they sold? So that's only like maybe what? Not even a.
It's a small number. Yeah,
it's a small number. So I mean, yeah, he can dig at the Switch, but I'm pretty sure Nintendo knows what their fan base wants. Xbox knows what their fan base wants, and Sony knows what they want. And so, yeah, I mean, if Xbox gets VR, they get VR, but I don't think they're gonna put a whole lot of resources into it. They already know what they need to do.
My opinion, I don't want Microsoft to waste development dollars trying to develop their own headset. When the X is as powerful as it is, the HTC Vive is fixing to come out with a new headset model. So now, you know, they bring out, say, yeah, you know, you can buy a third party, and that's what I want them to do. Don't, you know, let us be able to buy the third party headsets. And now, like I said, the Vive's going to get a new headset. You know, if that's announced, I can buy the original Vive at a cheaper price and play it on my Xbox, because I want that option. Because if I had VR for my Xbox, I would only play it there. Only reason I bought VR was, you know, because I don't have a gaming PC, and the PlayStation was the only way I could, you know, try out VR, because I've waited on it for years. But yeah, Microsoft, let them develop some games, but let us give us the option to buy the third party headset, so they don't waste money and resources on that. The thing with the Nintendo Switch, if a cell phone can do VR, because I had mobile VR when I had my S7 before I broke it, it was fantastic, and cordless, wireless. It was, you know, you won't attach to a cord. And if a cell phone can do that, I've thought about it. There's no reason why the Switch can't do it with, you know, somebody just making an app, because all it is splitting the screen into two different, you know, for you put your both your eyes. So why couldn't a Switch do it? The only thing you would need for the Switch to do that is some kind of app and a holder, so where you can wear it on your face. And the Switch should be able to do it.
Real quick, shout out to Cyrus Burke with the $2 super chat. If you guys didn't know, we do have super chat. We will answer your questions if they are appropriate. So this one goes out to Nick. What makes the Switch so innovative?
I was getting ready to actually text message in there. To me, what makes the Switch innovative is the whole hybrid situation and play on the go. It's really interesting to be able to dock it and undock it. It's HD gaming. Nintendo, for the longest time, has always had two separate, and they had their handheld. The handheld always looked like lemon booty. Let's be honest, it was never as good as the console. Now they took them both, mashed them together, so you have finally HD gaming that you can play on the go. That's really what I feel is very innovative about it. You can now start playing your Marios and all that shit on the go, A Legend of Zelda on the go, and it's a huge game like that. It's, to me, that's just key. That's key to me, because like I said, how often am I sitting in front of my TV, want to get up, go somewhere, and play the same game away from it? And it's literally an instant switch. As soon as you undock it, you get to play it. So to me, that's what makes it innovative. I'm going to go piggyback on what Jago said. I do agree with what he said as far as they could easily do it. I just don't think it would be as well as PlayStation or if Xbox One X would do it. And like I said, I think Nintendo, I think they know what their fan base wants, and I don't think that they are clamoring for it. But I don't think they would have an issue doing it. No. But I just don't think they will.
Yeah, I've heard some people. I'm not a Nintendo guy. I don't pretend to be. I was growing up, honestly, but I think that they're going to have some revisions with the Switch that are going to be, you know, either more powerful with the actual handheld or the dock or both, because they're having such success. We just dropped the code in the chat just in case you guys didn't see that. So it's a game code. Try to snatch that up as soon as possible. But my thoughts it goes as follows, and I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But I think that Xbox is in a win-win situation here. I feel like they've waited. They put out an extremely powerful console that can handle VR. They're not going to push a first-party system out there so that they don't take up time and resources to make it, and then they give people options. I mean, we talked about it. There's all these kinds of headsets out there, and they're focusing on mixed reality, which have, you know, it has endless possibilities. So I'm pumped at the you know, the possibility that they might announce this at E3, because I think it will just add to the options, and options are never a bad thing. So yeah, what's up?
Sorry to interrupt you, dude. I just didn't want to leave unannounced, but I'm gonna have to shoot off because my son, he's got autism and he's having a massive fit upstairs.
It's okay. It's okay, bro.
man.
We'll give you a proper outro and stuff like that. Thanks for stopping by. You know.
Yes, sir.
No, guys, thank you so much for having me. I literally, I'm so sorry to have to leave early. It's just
It's all right, man.
No, you do it
For
my
people
way, brother.
for people that don't know, Welsh, he's in the UK, so he should have been in bed a long time ago,
Yep.
along with UK Daz. But we appreciate you being on the panel, bro.
Yes,
No,
sir.
cheers, man. I just got to go see to my boy when he has these like meltdowns with his autism. He like literally hits his head against the wall and stuff.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
You
I'm right
gotta-
there with my son.
Take
Yeah,
care.
my daughter has autism as well, so we'll have to talk about that more later on.
No,
Definitely.
100%. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was an absolute
Thanks.
pleasure. Would love to do it again
It's a
sometime.
blast having you on.
For sure. Thank you, man.
Much love to you, Welsh.
Take care,
So-
guys. Thank you.
Anyway, that was awesome. Thanks, Welsh, for coming on again. He had to take off early, but do you guys have anything else to say about this topic, or do you want
I'm
to
good, bro.
get in? So
No, we're good.
I want to thank everybody on the panel. We had a great night. It was great topics and great discussion. I want to shout out everybody in the chat. Unfortunately, there's too many to shout out. I appreciate you guys. I love the discussion. It was awesome. The chat was on fire tonight. So anyway, let's get to the outros, then we'll get to gaming, because that's what people want to do. Native, where can people find you?
You can find me on. Sorry about that. You can find me on Xbox at Irrelevant Native. That's N8IVE, my gamer tag. You can also find me on Twitter, the same handle, Irrelevant Native N8IVE. And you can also find me here, just like you are right now, every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's right, I said at 5 p.m. You guys stop harassing me now. And
Never.
yeah, man, and you know, I'm in Discord as well. Everywhere you can find me is just Irrelevant Native. Irrelevant Native. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on the Xbox, and let's get some game-ins, man.
Awesome. Thanks. And like I said, he's a full-time member now, so congratulations to that. Jago, where can people find you?
I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Xbox, Twitter, and YouTube at Jago Cukin, brother.
Awesome. Punk, where can people find you?
On Twitter, Punkidish Gaming, and on Xbox, Punkidish. And I am gonna try to turn a new leaf and stay appearing online for all you fine folks out there.
Awesome. Nick, where can people find you?
YouTube.com/Nick Fury, Twitter at Nick Fury. And like I said, I'm just doing the whole Nintendo news thing, and I'm still doing a podcast, and I appreciate everybody in the Xbox community, because y'all are still behind me, and I love everybody. So there you go.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess it's me. I just want to make a quick announcement. The X Power podcast usually is on Mondays. I get the time periods mixed up. It's 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m.
7 my time, 7 Eastern.
Yeah, 7 Eastern. Glitcher's son, his birthday is tomorrow, so we'll be having X Power podcast on my channel tomorrow. It's gonna be the same cast and crew, so you can check us out there. So you said 7 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, it's 7 Eastern my time.
Okay, so check it out. It should be fun and awesome. Anyway, as it goes for me, you can find me on Twitter, Saltiest Gaming. It replaces the I. You can catch me on Xbox, Saltiest Gaming, all one word. Like I said, I'm going to be making a video tomorrow about VR and potential of coming to Xbox, so stay tuned to that. And yeah, this was an amazing night. I want to thank everybody again. So that's going to do it for episode 19, I believe.
19.
Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay salty, my friends.
Yep.
Later.